My parents were newlyweds and trying to get a job in the Great Depression, and moved to Tucson because my father had a job selling cars. And I was born in a hospital called the Stork's Nest. He left my mother and went to Fresno and got a job with Frank J. Sanders. Came home to tell my mother, and she said, "Wonderful, what's the salary?" He said, "Oh, you don't get anything until you sell a car." And so she was devastated. I was maybe 5 years old, but I can remember that devastation. Eventually, he got to selling the cars, did very well. Frank J. Sanders asked him to move to the downtown location. He did. He got another job with Ford Motor Company selling tractors. He did so well that they asked him, they would sponsor him and also pay for the expenses of an agency in Reedley. We moved to Reedley and I started high school there. Well, during World War II, the government encouraged everyone to grow their own vegetables and fruits and all. And I really got into it. I grew carrots and onions and zucchini. And my sister, 2 years younger, she just didn't like to do that. And so she was my house girl. She learned to cook and to do all those things. I love tennis. I also was a flag bearer on the street to allow the little children to walk across in front of me. And I had several good friends that I am still in touch with to this day. One became a sister-in-law. Funny how life goes. Well, I was a rainbow girl, and that is a part of the Masonic tradition. And my parents were both in the Masonic order, and so it was just natural I should be a rainbow girl. And that sort of teaches you proper manners, proper standing, sitting, giving speeches, all those things. And so his father was the master, and there was another woman who was the woman leader. And he kept saying, "Wilma, you've got to meet my son. You have to meet my son." I also wanted very much to be part of the band. So the band leader lived 2 doors down from me, and I went down and talked to him, and he said, "Well, you don't play an instrument. What can we do with you?" Well, I could be a majorette. Okay, and he got me a baton, and I practiced and practiced, and so I became a majorette in all the marching band things, got to go on all those trips. So I was marching down the street of Orange Cove, and Dan saw me, and his father was there waving and going like this. And that's how I met Dan. His parents wanted him to be a doctor, so we both entered UCLA. I learned to be a teacher, education. He took all the biology and all that. And then at the end of his senior year, he graduated and was ready to go on to do a master's. He got a job in Fresno selling cars. And he said to me, "Wilma, this is where I belong. This is me. I'm a salesperson." So his whole life changed. Oh, I thought Dan had brought me to the end of the world because it wasn't as green and beautiful as it is now. And there was just 2 blocks of business. But right away, I went to the Presbyterian Church, and right away, just people were so friendly and so nice. So yes, I learned to like it within 6 months. he got into historic preservation because he was worried about the Carnegie Museum. And he and a group of people began working on that. It was just in a mess. And they began working on it, and they formed a group, and they would meet every Thursday night and do some painting or ice sanding. And they would work on the museum, and finally that came about, and that got him interested in preserving buildings because people, maybe it was the politicians and a lot of other people, they wanted to tear down the county courthouse. It was empty at that time. They had already moved out. A lot of women, they organized, and they were constantly doing peaceful marches in the park with signs. See, they were going to take and put the new police station right in the park. Oh, it's a great place, right? And it's going to be modern, and we're going to... So they stopped that police. So the police then moved, they're a block away north. People in downtown Hanford got going, cleaned up their buildings, began to put little nice awnings, making their businesses look old-fashioned. We had business coming and going. Camille Wing organized a group of people, show-offs it was called, and they had t-shirts. And she got people from the Bay Area and from LA and Bakersfield. They'd bring their buses in, and they'd do this tour. It was empty, it stunk, it was just a horrible mess. How they cleaned it is they took hoses inside. Danny worked for them for a few years in high school, and he said they'd take hoses and they'd just hose all the popcorn and everything to the bottom of the stage, and then they'd sweep it out. We wanted to keep the interior. There are beautiful murals on the walls. There are beautiful wrought iron fixtures. We found lots of seats in the back, so we've been able to substitute, reupholster, and so forth. The upstairs balcony had been closed off for years, and there were no seating or anything. And Dan learned that the San Francisco Fox Theater was being torn down, and that they were selling their seats. Dan ran up there really quick, found out they're rocking chairs. You can sit and rock. And he bought enough to have them put in the balcony. I guess the Carnegie Museum, the theater, raising my children to be good citizens.
Well, thank you so very much for your time and for sharing your stories with us.
I enjoyed it.